GrokTALK.
Folks, you're listening to GrokTALK, a production of GraniteGrok.com, New Hampshire's leading conservative and libertarian blog site. We are live from Liberty Forum here at the Radisson in New Hampshire's Manchester City. I'm Skip, he's Steve, and we've got Jane sitting with us. Susan has gone off to go trolling for guests. And she said she had bucks in her... Well, I don't know whether it's the fishing part or the bucks in her pocket part that I'd go with, but...
she doesn't need to pay for guests. She just finds some people we know and bring them in, and we'll have a chat. Because
Yeah.
we're in, way away from everything else that's going on. So people who go to Liberty Forum go past us and go down around the corner to the convention space where everything's happening.
You are a little bit off. I was
You're gonna-
surprised you were so far away
But
from
this
the...
is where they put media. This is the media room.
Well, it's a beautiful room.
It is
Oh, it's a
beautiful room.
gorgeous, elegant room.
Yes.
You know, dark mahogany type look with fine china in a nice cabinet.
Yes.
I was told the wine one is next door, empty.
Oh, my.
But it is what it is. Oh, here comes trouble. Trouble. This is the kind of person I want to meet. Sit down. No. Guilty of...
Independent thought.
Oh, say that on the headset. Put it on.
There you go.
Used to being on the left, the right, the left.
It doesn't make any... No, you're in the middle. You're in the mushy middle if you're an independent. Kimberly, thanks for stopping by.
How are you?
I'm guilty of lots of independent thoughts.
I'm guilty of lots of evil thoughts.
Evil. Well, yeah, it seems to be that lately thoughts of freedom have been categorized to be evil, which is not a good thing.
No, I think evil thoughts about people who try to take it away.
Oh,
There's a lot of that going
now we're
on.
back to the innocent versus guilty again
Yeah.
from the last segment. But how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
And you're here representing somebody, aren't you?
Women's Defense League.
Yay.
Yeah.
We have a booth.
Cool. Yeah, we're kind of, our cords aren't long enough.
To get all the way over
to
there,
go
yeah.
up.
No, we need wireless headsets apparently now.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
That's
Well,
official request?
well, actually, a couple weeks ago we did make a request, folks. We need more because we have conversations. We don't interview people. We just talk with people. And we said we'd love to get 2 more headsets. We had somebody this morning hand me a check for $200
Nice.
for a new headset.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And we're most appreciative because, folks, this mostly comes out of my pocket.
Yeah.
And it's fine because this is what I do as my little contribution to try to increase freedom and liberty here in New Hampshire. And apparently enough people kind of think that it works, so they help us out from time to time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which reminds me the server bills due again.
Donate at GraniteGrok.com, or you can put some money in our jar. No, we're going to give that to CNHT.
Yeah.
I put a penny in there. I got to put some more money in there.
Put a penny in there?
I did.
Yeah, I'm going
Is
to
that the lucky penny?
They have
I
a-
just happened to have it. It was on the table when I walked out the door, and I went pink and threw it in the jar. So.
They have PayPal at CNHT, correct?
I don't know.
He's
She
talking
must.
to you.
I don't know. Yes, I'm pretty sure they do.
Okay.
I think they have a donation button, yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, well, that's where we can go and do this. So, yeah, I'm going to go hit their tip jar, as Stacey McCain, the other McCain, is off to say.
Yeah.
Because they do let us use their offices on a regular basis.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So we do
Very
need
kind
to.
of them.
Well, they got to pay for phone and
Absolutely.
space. And,
Yeah. And this will be a voluntary redistribution of wealth rather than it being enforced, which is lots of stuff. Speaking of which, it was nice to see that, Steve, I don't know whether you've decided to do, or when you've decided to do the WTF moment of the day.
Well, I haven't decided when yet, but there's plenty of options. You can just throw it out there now if you want.
I have one.
Okay.
She's looking for it. All righty, go ahead.
My buddy, David Pierce.
Oh,
We were just talking about him.
Last week,
You know, this is perfectly framed. Your head's right on top of the picture.
if it was filled with beer, I'd be guzzling it.
Oh, me too.
I'm stuck with water.
Last week, there was a bill that he sponsored in the Senate called SB 42.
Yeah, that was the one we were just talking to Susan about.
Well, he
Types of birth control on applications for employment?
Yeah.
Pray tell us your thoughts, ma'am.
Yes.
Well, apparently his uterus is all in a tizzy because it didn't pass, and he believes that it was a significant life decision for a woman about birth control, that she has to see it on a job application. Yet it's not a significant life decision for a woman to protect herself and her family.
Yeah, but if the Democrats have their way, there's a bill down in D.C. that would tell employers you can't ask about somebody's criminal background. So when the woman signs the application and then a felon follows right behind, I would think that would put her at more danger than necessarily knowing which contraceptive she can't have.
Yeah. Well, it just shows you how we've lost any kind of common sense in this whole thing. I mean, out the window.
I interviewed Anita Moncrief yesterday.
Oh, she's a nice lady.
She's fabulous. And she calls those women, the vagina monologues. I love it. Because, and we were talking about, it's like, why do they think women only think about our uterus?
I was going to say.
Because Democrats are sex obsessed. They really are.
They're sex obsessed, and David Pierce grew one overnight because he thinks he knows what women's rights are.
Yeah. I kind of thought rights kind of didn't care. I didn't think that rights really mattered to a particular gender, or as the progressives kind of seem that there's all kinds of genders. I still think binary, but that's just me, this old-fashioned kind of guy. It doesn't matter what your skin color is. It doesn't matter what political affiliation it is. It doesn't really matter your age. It doesn't even matter your IQ, because we see a whole lot of people with very low IQs sitting in D.C. nowadays.
Sitting
trying to
in
tell us
New
what
Hampshire.
to do. Yeah. Rights just are. It's like freedom is. There's no justification for it. It just is.
They don't care about any of that anyway.
Senator Pierce thinks that birth control is a right. A right. That's
well,
what he said.
that's what happened
That's what
with
progressives
Obamacare.
believe. Absolutely.
Well, no, not entirely, because abstinence is a form of birth control, and they don't believe in that.
It's
Right.
free and 24/7 access.
Right, but they don't believe in it.
No.
But you know where that comes from.
What?
Abstinence?
No. Their definition of freedom.
Oh.
And it stems from FDR's issuance of his second Bill of Rights, where they basically said no one is really free until they are free from the vicissitudes of regular daily life. In other words, if you are in need, you are not free.
Yeah.
So now we're back to Marx again.
There you go.
But that's really where they come from. But they never are willing to talk about the backside of that, which is in order to give somebody, quote unquote, their freedom, they first must take away freedom from other people.
Take it away from others. You know, this whole thing is interesting because what you're talking about really is how the left has managed to take that stupid message, this one thing about women's health care or women's issues, right? And they had a large voice in the vote of our president last year. So this message has had traction with the progressives and with the voting bloc for a long time, which is why they keep going back to the well.
But
But
they're losing.
Yeah, because Shaheen, when she was running, she started on that whole war on women thing, but they stopped.
Yeah.
She stopped midway between the election because people, at least here, women especially, were sick of it.
Right.
Her own supporters. I always comment on her page because I like to do that. And so her own supporters were saying, you know what, I'm sick of this.
That's right.
So her own supporters were getting sick of it.
I think-
Democrats are getting sick of it. It makes women look like we're little morons.
Stupid, yes.
Yeah, we're ignorant
Stupid.
little morons who only think about our lady parts.
I know. You're right.
You know?
But you know what? Until recently,
It's insulting.
It is insulting, but we haven't had a really strong discussion against it until after that election happened.
Oh,
That's
I've been talking about it for a long time.
Yeah, but now a lot of people, like
A
you
lot
said,
more
a
people
lot
are
more
talking
people
about
are
it.
talking about it. And I hope that it continues because you know what? They're going to go back to the well if they're allowed to and use it in the next one because we all know that women's health care rights are a huge problem today.
In the meantime, they think that they can read my mind because I'm always getting yelled at that that's all we men think about is lady
God.
parts. So,
Yeah.
I just...
Get a
Maybe
life.
left-wing men, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's all they ever talk about. And that's why, like I said, Pierce had to have grown a uterus overnight because he told us, women, fighting for our Second Amendment rights, that it wasn't a women's rights issue.
Yeah.
I mean, really?
Well,
That's actually a women's rights issue.
Absolutely.
It all depends on who is trying to grab the argument and try to frame the argument. And I think in a lot of cases, as we saw with Half-Baked Hosmer, they lost the framing on that one.
They totally lost the framing on this whole thing. Mm-hmm. We flipped the narrative on them, and they can't roll that back because we're still out there. Because it's a fact.
Because we just keep punching. We just have. It's sort of like with the Ray Buckley stuff. All I have to do is keep bringing. Anytime the Democrats want to attack us, I just bring up those videos.
I
Just
do
say
the same
YouTube.
thing.
You don't even have to engage him. Anytime he says YouTube. That's all.
I say he is the creepiest person in politics in all of New Hampshire. Absolutely.
Well, he's also, remember, a vice chair of the National
DNC.
Democrat National Committee, which tells you where we're headed. But, here's the other WTF moment of the day. And as you well know, I haven't posted the emails that I sent around to the group. And, yes, folks, we do have a secret cabal of groksters where we send emails around on lots of stuff. And sometimes it's a whole lot more interesting than what we talk about or write about. But I'll tell you, I had a really bad week when I saw everything that was going on. And every time I turn around, it is various levels of government saying, I don't have to follow the law. Mm-hmm. And, it doesn't matter whether you're right or left, but it is the rule of law that has given us our freedom in excess of any other country in the world.
Absolutely.
And you add that to the right of private property, and you see both of those two pillars of our republic being so denigrated. I told the other groksters, I'm getting scared because it isn't stopping.
It's accelerating.
When the Rasmussen polls say that the majority of Democrats think it's okay for Obama to not listen to a Supreme Court decision, we're in deep doo-doo. We really are, because in essence what we're doing is we're morphing into the rule of the strong man, and that never ends up well at all.
Right. I was just talking about that with someone off the side of what we were talking about. And, obviously we already believe screw D.C., save New Hampshire, but look what we have in New Hampshire.
Right. We have the same issues going on. How interesting is it that politically speaking in Little New Hampshire, we call it being jaspered? We're seeing, I'm putting that on every website that I see, any comment at all. Yeah, you were just jaspered. And now we see the federal, with Boehner, with what he did, with just dropping the ball on the immigration and not standing for what the folks want. Really, I mean, what the Republicans, his party, voted these Republicans in to be the line in the sand. And they were jaspered. Yep. And now you saw that Nancy Pelosi is going to pull her power base, right? To support him because now the conservatives are uprising in the House, saying that they might oust him. So she goes out and she has a little bitty press conference, and she tells people that we're going to support Boehner. I bet you are. And you know what? That's what happened in the New Hampshire House. Jaspered. That's what it was.
And it really is a case that it's getting to the point where a lot of people are asking, what is the sense of voting for Republicans? If we give them the big majorities, regardless of where we're at, and they don't do what they say that they do, that they were going to do, that we look at their promise, at this point, we no longer can listen to their words. We have to listen to the results, and the results are putrid. Mm-hmm.
And we have to nail them the next election. Yeah. This isn't a joke. We have to nail them.
Yeah, and this is why they don't like us. But you know something? I don't care. Because if we're standing on the actual GOP platform, which I know you're an independent, you keep thinking independent thoughts. Yes. But it's a good conservative platform. But we stand on, I no longer talk guns on the Second Amendment. I talk about Article 2A. We need to be able to do that. We need to do it more often and hold these people accountable. And I'm still trying to change the narrative of the vote, which is you don't vote for the least worst. You don't vote just because they're a Republican. You say, I'm trying to flip that narrative to say, essentially, and it may not be for long based on Obama's illegal amnesty here, my vote is the only thing I have left of being a citizenship. I'm going to treat this as I would the consumer marketplace. I am only going to spend my vote when I see value.
Right.
I did not see value in Havenstein. I did not vote for him. I did not see value in Scott Brown. Mm-hmm. I did not vote for him. A lot of people didn't vote for him, regardless of where
that was a huge lesson, and I think that's a precedent that we should push forward.
Frank Ginter, 2 cycles ago, learned that lesson as well.
Didn't make any difference, did it?
No, it didn't because, he voted to fully fund Obama's illegal amnesty, regardless of what he said during the campaign about it being unconstitutional.
Right.
You just, that's where the words don't match the results. Screw you.
Yeah.
You know what?
And that screw you is meant for any politician who says, here's a promise built on freedom and liberty, and that's the way we go.
I'm not in politics to make friends. I'm in politics to piss people off.
Yeah.
So
Winning.
Well, why do you think you're writing at Granite Grok?
Can you turn me up, please? Thank
Okay.
you. Winning.
Yes.
Winning.
What, making me choke?
No, pissing people off.
Yes.
Well, the thing, I mean, there is fun in doing that at times, but there is always a reason and a purpose as to why we do that, because it's like we were talking, as Susan was talking about earlier, the good old boys running the state, small state, and all of that stuff. They don't like newer people coming in and saying, "Hey, you're doing it wrong," and they go, "Who the heck are you?"
Mm-hmm.
oh, want to find out?
Well, I think the
Well,
top.
they know who I am now, but
Well, I think the top two folks at the top of the ticket found out pretty well because we were able to just keep pushing and pushing and pushing.
Yeah.
Of course, the other WTF moment of the week that I ran into was an email, which I will be posting later on, from the former NHGOP executive director, who is now heading up the Christie campaign here in New Hampshire.
Yippee!
Who's that?
Matt Mowers.
Well, he was with him before he came to New
surprised.
Hampshire.
That's
He
why
was.
he came to New Hampshire to
Right.
get himself a job with
Sure.
the
I'm not
NHGOP so
surprised.
that
That
he would
doesn't
already
surprise
be
me.
Yeah.
here and he would
He's
already
done.
know everybody.
There's just no way that Christie's going to get traction, I don't believe, in any way, shape, or form here in New Hampshire.
But we'll see what happens. But
he might from the Democrats.
Anyway, you got an email
That's
from
true,
him.
too.
And
this
Are
is.
you going to post it?
Of course, I'm
That's
going
a
to.
good thing.
And you know something? I'm going to resurrect those old posts of me asking him, when are you going to
Wonderful.
update the NHGOP platform that was voted upon by all the delegates,
That
and you
was
refused to do
inconvenient.
that?
Inconvenient for them because you know what? That wasn't a help for the political race. Once we stop talking political and we start talking principles, maybe we can get the friggin' train back on track. But you know what? The money behind the scenes won't let that happen because you know what? They have to be in power. The power base needs that vessel. And
Yeah.
if you're outside the vessel, which we are, you're a troublemaker. And you need to go sit in the corner. And you know what? We need big signs,
Nobody
big
puts
buttons.
baby in a corner.
Put it. No, I think all Groksters should get a big little pin here that says "Who's next?" And just put 'em on. Who's next?
Who's next?
You're
That's
on
it.
my list. Don't get on my list.
Right.
Trust me.
Who's
don't
next?
get on my list.
Who's
It's
next?
okay.
I like that. We should do that. Write that down.
Write that down.
You like that,
Who's
huh?
next?
Who's next?
I like
Well,
that.
I know one thing. We have to have a next segment here. So
Yes, I have to go anyway because I have to go woman the table.
woman,
Go woman the
I
table.
am not going to follow
Touch
that one up.
Good thing. Don't touch it.
Come down and visit us at the Women's Defense
Yeah,
League.
I want to get up out of here and I want to go talk. So you or Susan or somebody else can sit and take my place. Greg could run the TV in a box, couldn't he?
Just let it run.
Just let
What's
it run.
to do? Just
Well-
let it run. Even if we have breaks, let
Hey,
it run.
did you get Vermin Supreme to come over here? I met him for the first time yesterday.
Oh, Mr. Rubber Boot Hat? No, not yet.
I need to glitter bomb some people in the Senate.
All right. All right, folks, we're going to take a break right here, and we are going to return because we're GrokTALK.
We don't know how loud it's going to be, so be prepared.
Oh,
This
yeah,
is
well,
only a
it's
30-second break, so we're not going for very long.
All right, well, go ahead. Try it. We'll
Go
be
ahead,
right back.
turn it up.
GrokTALK.